Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back into another video. For the first timers here on the channel, I do a lot of Paladins content, and I'm also going to be doing some Smite content in the future. I'm also planning on adding some Fortnite and so on, but today's video it is specifically about Paladins, especially for two sets of people. The people who have tried Paladins but didn't really get along with it, and the second one is for brand new players. We're going to be talking about the topics on screen. The first one is what exactly is Paladins and how can you describe it in like easy to understand, a simple explanation. The second topic will be the basics of the game, the things that you need to understand in order to, when you're playing, you know what you're doing and you're not just moving around like, you know, a dum-dum. The third topic will be before you start your gaming sessions and so on, before you create your account and so on, what should you do first? You know, like making sure that you get all those referral rewards and all that stuff. And I'm gonna make sure that I explain all of that to you so you don't miss anything out and you can have as much as a better experience as possible, because nobody talks about this, right? Like, people only tell you what the game is and how do you play it, but then when you're already like level 50, 100 plus, and you're like, oh, I could have done that entire referral thing. Well, now you're gonna know, and I'm gonna explain it to you. The fourth step will be, once you're in the game, what are your first steps? What's the first things that you need to focus on, like tutorials, and what other things should you be looking for while playing the game, right? And then finally, the fifth one, how to enjoy the game to its full potential, how to enjoy it more, how not to tilt, and stuff that, like, certain goals that you can go for and focus on so that you don't get bored out of the game. All right, so let's start off with what is Paladins, right? Paladins is a first-person shooter, all right, FPS, hero style. If you've never heard of that before, it is a game where you play in a first-person perspective, right? It is a shooter, but it has a hero mechanic which makes every single character have different abilities, ultimates, and even different weapons, right? And within that same scenario, we also have different classes. In fact, we have 4 classes, which, here's a tip for you, make sure that every time that you're selecting your characters before you're joining into a game, you at least have one of each. It's like the best stuff to start off. I'll have more advanced videos on like breaking down each class, but for the most simplified version of this, you have tanks, front lines, then you have the damages, you got the flanks, and then you got the supports. The front lines are big beefy dudes with a lot of HP, or girls, obviously. Like, what I'm saying, dudes, it's in general. You got characters with a lot of HP, shields, damage reductions, and so on. Those are the ones who are going to be staying more in the front. Those are the ones who are going to be holding more on, like, the objectives and so on. And also trying to defend your teammates. Then you got the damage players, which, as the name suggests, they're mostly to do damage, poke the enemy, do as much as damage as possible, destroy shields, etc. You got flanks, characters which most of the times will have a lot of mobility. Not every time, but they can poke. They are the damage class, which is a bit squishier. Like, they can die a bit easier, but sometimes they'll have more mobility because they are going in to finish off a kill that it's very close to die, and they need to confirm that kill, and then it can back out. And so, you know, they move around the map more a little bit and so on, but that's usually damages and flanks that are almost the same thing. There's actually characters inside of the damage class that are a lot more mobile than, for example, in the flank class. But it all depends on champions. It doesn't matter. We'll see that later. And then supports that can be played mostly, as the name suggests, as supports, as healers. Sometimes not only healing, they also give like buffs. They give protections. They give certain, for example, damage, extra damage for you to play for a couple seconds, or give you ammo back, or give you ult charge, and so on. And I'm assuming you guys know what an ultimate is. The ultimate is like that special ability that's a bit stronger, right? While the rest of your abilities either use ammo, which is usually your main weapon, and then abilities that will most of the times have a cooldown, right? It's like a timer that goes down and then you can use it again. Sometimes there'll be some champions who have different resources. But that's a bit more complicated. You'll find that out in the future. Don't worry too much about it. The ultimate, however, is usually by percentage, and that percentage will increase over time on its own, and there will be cards, items, and so on, which we'll talk about the loadouts also in this video. But it will charge over time, and the more you do, the more damage you do, the more it increases as well. So being active in the game, doing as much as you can possible, from healing to capture point to defend your teammates, save them, deal damage, destroy shields, doing everything you can will be one of the best things for you to do, okay? Then we'll talk about the main objectives for each class. For now, I want to talk about, for example, the main game mode of this game, right? What do you do in this game? You know you have characters, you have abilities, you have ultimates, you have different classes. It's a first-person shooter. What do you do in the game? So the main mode of this game, it's called Siege. And once you are already in the game, you'll be able to see you have here multiple different modes, but Siege is your main mode. This is the core game mode for the entire game. After a lot of changes and transformations, this is your main mode that you should be focusing on learning, because later on, when you become a bit more experienced, you'll go into something called competitive ranked. And the mode there is Siege, right? This is the only mode that gives you a rank. In this case, you go from, for example, from bronze all the way to grandmasters, as you can see here on this spectrum, but you will get this by playing the mode ranked, which the main game mode on it is Siege. So what do you do in Siege? It's pretty simple. You have to get 4 points with your team, which, if I didn't mention before, this is a 5v5 game mode every single time. Everything you do here is 5v5. You don't actually play by yourself. There will be some limited time modes where you'll play like 3v3s, it doesn't matter, but it will always be a 5v5, and you'll have different objectives on each mode. The main game modes between Siege, you have to collect 4 points. And how do you collect the 4 points on this mode? You'll have like instructions in the game, like it'll tell you capture the objective, push the payload, and so on. But it's pretty simple actually. You have a map, and each team spawns on, their own separate spawns. Once the timer goes down, the doors open and you can leave. And once you leave, you go over to the center of the map, which is usually where the point to capture will be located. You'll have a little light on it, and you have to try to capture it and stop the enemy from capturing it, right? And if you do capture it, you get 1 point. If the enemy captures it, they get a point. So you try to prevent them from getting points, right? But there's a lot of rules to this, and I will do a video of a more in-depth guide for Siege specifically, so everybody understands. I have done, for example, one for TDM, which is not available right now, Team Deathmatch, but, that's just an example of what I'm saying. I'm going to do that the same with Siege. But essentially, you collect points from capturing and then defending, because after you capture, a payload, a little cart will spawn, and the team that did capture the point has to push it, while the other team now has to stop it from reaching its destination. And if you do end up defending it before before the timer reaches 0, you manage to stop it from reaching its location, its final location, you get a point, right? Because the enemy team probably captured a point, they had the cart, you stopped them from delivering that cart, so now you're 1-1 because you defended. You got 1 point. They had captured the point. They got a point, right? So it's pretty easy to understand. If they capture and deliver, that's 2 points for them. They captured one and then they delivered another. But here's the twist that some of you, when you're starting playing, you're gonna get into this mode straight away. You're gonna get confused. You cannot, if you're at 3 points in your team and you defend, like the next round they capture, right? Because every time the card gets to its destination or it gets defended, that's the end of a round, and you go to the next one. If you do not capture that card in the last round and you defend it, you're not going to get a point, because the last point can only be achieved by 2 ways: by capturing the point, or delivering the payload. Defending it will never give you a point, right? And a lot of people don't know this. There's also some helps that if you're losing by a lot of points, the game will help you capture certain things a bit faster, but that's not really too complex. I will explain it in the later video. So as you can see, it's a very simple game mode. You have an objective, capture it, get a card, push the card. If it's not you, then defend it. Don't let the enemy push it to the enemy side, or in this case, your spawn. And then just collect 4 points. You get points, like I said, and you win if you get 4 points first. So that same mode will go into competitive. The only difference, which is another point that I want to put in here, the game has what it's called blind picks, right? In this casual mode, you do not get to see what the enemy is picking. Only when everything is locked, that's when you can then see what the enemy has. But on contrary to, for example, to Overwatch, which is the same exact game genre and so on, you do not get to change characters. So whatever you picked, that's what you're playing until the end, all right? Which you're probably thinking, oh, well, that's crazy. Then how do I counter the enemy? There's a lot of different things to help you. Characters have what it's called loadouts. So you have a total of 16 cards that you can previously, before going into games, you can select cards for them and pre-do your little loadout. You put points in everywhere. You have to distribute 15 points, and every point will make the card just stronger. So you have like 16 cards you get to select, 5 of them, and then distribute 15 points through it. And after you've done this, you go into the game, you select which one you want, depending on whatever the enemy is, or what you have on your team, or whatever you want to play. Because before the loadouts, you have what it's called talents. 3 main ways of playing your character. You select one of these. Once you select that, then you select what loadout you want. And so this is like a little skill tree, almost whatever you want to call it, that will make your character run faster, do more damage, have more bullets, and so on, right? I have a video explaining on how you can do these loadouts. Even if you've never done a single loadout, don't bother yourself right at the start, because until you're level 5, by the way, in your account, you will be playing versus bots. So you don't have to worry too much about this, all right? Like, if you think that until you're level 5, you're doing great, oh my god, I'm a god. No, you're just playing versus bots. It is completely normal. I do advise it, if you join a party of somebody who's a higher level, the game will ignore that, and you will go against real people who are higher level, and you will be destroyed. So be careful with that. But again, in the start, without even doing your loadouts, these here that have different frames, these are default loadouts. The game provides to you 3 different default loadouts for every character you own, right? And when you start, you actually have only 1 talent. You need to reach level 8 with that character, because you're not just leveling up your account, you're leveling up the characters as well. Once you reach level 8 with this character, it will unlock all the different talents. And this is going to be one major goal for you to be experienced in the game, which is essentially leveling up every character to level 8. You also have to purchase the characters with what is called gold. I also have a video explaining to you on how you can get as much as gold as possible. I'm going to try to put all of that, all those different tutorials on the description. So how to do loadouts, how to essentially get as much as gold as possible, how to play team deathmatch, and how to play siege, how to be better ranked, all that. I'm gonna put as many tutorials as I've already done before in the description, so you guys can go into those videos later, because I can't put them all on the screen. But like I said, I still want to teach you, before you go into the game and start gaming, what you need to do so you don't level up and you are too far ahead to finish this. I have another video which essentially teaches you how to do what is called a referral system. If you have a friend who's playing the game, they can do something called referral system, and in that video I show you exactly how to do it. What this does, it connects your brand new account you're about to create to them. Now, you don't create an account just yet, right? And if you have created it, forget it. Just create a brand new one. If you are still like level 1 or 2, forget it. Just leave it around, create a brand new one, and then on that video, not only do I explain how to get the referral system, but I also explain to you how to link your accounts on the main website that allows you to get like drops from Twitch drops, Amazon, Twitch Prime, etc. All of that, right? And that will also be in the description. Check it out. So after you do that, it'll be easy to track as well. It'll be here. You press a little thing and you have this. So for example, here, I've done all of mine. You'll get crystals, you get gold, you get a skin. So this is definitely something you want to do, both you and your friend. And in case you don't have anybody that plays the game and you want still to get some of these rewards, in that same video, I think I left my link to referral as well, where people can actually go ahead as well and referral to me, essentially. So they use me as a referral so they can get rewards, and you can do that, for example. That's a simple way as well to do it. So that's the first thing you want to do. After that, you want to create your account with that link, right? And then after you get into the game, like whether you play Steam, Xbox, warning, very big warning, PlayStation does not have cross progression to all the other platforms. We no longer have Switch, we no longer have Paladins on Switch, but we have Xbox, Epic Games, and Steam. And if you play on any of those, and you have everything connected on that website that I show you on those videos, you can have everything in here into the other platform, and it's fantastic. But it never goes into PlayStation, and vice versa, okay? So if you are questioning, should I play this game on PlayStation? Should I play this game on Xbox? Well, now you know. If you play on PlayStation, you're going to be locked from all the other platforms of having your stuff there for the rest of your life, because this is not going to change. Forget it. Sony does not want to do that. There is cross-play, however. You can play with your friends from Xbox and so on. You just cannot bring rewards from one place to the other, okay? Don't get confused. But if you're on an Xbox, for example, all your stuff will be available on Steam and Epic Games, okay? As long as you have everything connected on the website that I show you on the video. So yeah, there you go. That's the first major thing. Connect your accounts, create your account through the referral link, and then set everything up, have the game ready. First steps. Now we're already going into... we already passed these two different topics, and I already talked to you about this one and the referral system and the linking. Let's talk about the first few steps. Once you get into the game, the first thing you want to do, it's going to ask you a simple question. Do you want to do the tutorial? You say yes. Even if you already played it, and if you know the game, do the tutorial. The tutorial is going to give you something that it's named gold, like I mentioned before, and you're going to need that. You're going to need that straight away because you're going to need to buy champions, and champions are bought through gold. I feel like there's a huge mistake on the entire tutorial part, because unfortunately they probably didn't thought about it. But when you do the tutorial, it gives you 40,000 XP. Now, the tutorial doesn't teach you how to play the main mode of Siege. It gives you like a glimpse of what it is, right? But it doesn't really show you one of those matches. And like I said, until you're level 5, you're going to play versus bots. Them giving you 40,000 XP, which just says right there once you complete it, plus the 25,000 gold. Once you get this XP, you're already skipping probably 1 or 2 matches of Siege. So essentially, you have been tricked by playing the tutorial into not play 1 or 2 more matches with bots. So, if you don't feel ready, once you are level 5, and you're not feeling ready to go against live players just yet, you have a tab. When you go into play, you got a tab, which is the third tab, that allows you to go into Siege training, meaning that you will be playing versus bots, and you might have bots on your team as well. Which is fantastic. I mean, for training, for testing out stuff, you want to test out a brand new champion, never played it, you do have the shooting range, which is absolutely fantastic. All champions are available to you, and you can just test all their abilities. Brand new champions you haven't bought, you don't got gold for them yet, you want to know what next champion to obtain, you can go here into the shooting range and just test them out, all right? So this is the place. This is going to be one of the main modes you'll be mostly when testing out loadouts. You want to create loadouts. You can edit it there. Once you go into the shooting range, press escape. There'll be a thing saying edit loadout, and you can edit your loadout. Read the cards. That's going to be one of the major tips I got for you. Read everything. All right. I'll show you some of the stuff you need to read, but make sure that once you go into the shooting range, you know, you test out as much as possible. You test out damage. You have the different types of characters. The hit characters are called hit scans, which is shots that are instant once you click it. And then you have projectiles, the ones that you see the shots still travel, right? Those usually don't do headshots. Hit scans usually do headshots. So for example, that's stuff that you can test out on shooting range to know which one is which and how you can obtain, you know, certain combos or how certain abilities work. In order to see the abilities, press K on the keyboard. If you're on PC, on the Xbox, I don't know. You can just go into settings and go into keybinds and see which one says about character info. A little bit of a tip, if you're on PC, I would advise you to put the FOV to your liking. I personally like it all the way to the max. Settings, video options, and mess around with this based on what you need. FOV, I like it to the max possible so I can have a better angle of view. That could be for you as well. But like I said, you can come here if you're not ready to go into live players. However, now that I'm talking about live players, that's going to be a major thing for you. So, first of all, right now, the modes we have available is Payload, Siege, and King of the Hill. The one that I'm going to suggest to you, if you don't have time to play Siege, because a mode of Siege can go all the way to 30 minutes. If you don't have time to play that, I would advise you to go to King of the Hill here, which is very simple. You have a map, you have to kill enemies, they'll be killing you, you'll be respawning like randomly, and there'll be a point where you need to stand in to catch points. If enemies are there, it will be contested. You cannot capture points, so you have to kill them and then stay there, capture points. Then the point will move around through the map, and you have to go and search it and collect more points. The first team to get to 400 points wins. There'll be different modes that will be rotating every patch or so. You'll have Team Deathmatch, which is literally just killing, all the way to 40 kills. That's it. No other objective. That's fantastic for you to train fighting skills. You need to train fire skills, King of the Hill, TDM, and the other mode, which is called Onslaught, which is exactly the same thing as this mode, but it's just the point doesn't move. It's the same thing. Those are obviously the best for you to train your fighting skills. When it comes to know how to play as a team, however, Siege will be your mode. And one thing that's going to happen is people will be toxic to you. If you pick the wrong thing, if you didn't pick what your team needed, if you're playing by yourself, a lot of these things will happen. So my suggestion to you guys is don't engage in any fights. I know somebody will be mean to you. They will tell you to go yourself and such like that. Don't engage. Ignore them. One of the best times I've ever had in this game was when I was playing on PlayStation 4, and back then there was no typing chat yet, and we had such a wonderful time because I didn't have to read anything from anybody, and I didn't need to answer back because I wouldn't know what these people wanted. There is a voice chat in this game that only really works in competitive, and casuals it won't work unless you're in a party. Then you can hear your teammates through your party. But in competitive, which we'll get into that in just a second, but once you reach competitive, you'll see that some people will start using voice chat. And once they start using voice chat, you'll see a lot of people being toxic. My tip for that is you can have the voice chat on so you can hear callouts, but don't take it seriously when they start being toxic. Ignore them. Don't answer back. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you might think that you're being, you're being smart by giving them this smart little answer. They're being toxic to you, you tell them, no you, stuff like that. And the problem is this will escalate, and you will eventually either will lose your cool, you'll start performing bad in the game, you will say something that will actually get you banned instead, or that other teammate will start being toxic to other people, or even go AFK. This is not the ideal scenario for you to enjoy the game, so ignore it. Don't engage. If they want to be toxic, let them be toxic. Ignore it, just play the game. Focus on doing your thing. If they start saying that they're going to report you because you played bad, guess what? They cannot get you banned because you are playing bad. Okay, that's not how things work. People might say, "Oh, he's feeding." That's their understanding. If you're playing the game all the way till your full understanding, to all the knowledge you have and how good you can be, that's it. The game is not going to ban you because you're playing to your best, and your best just doesn't happen to be a pro player, okay? Forget it. So that is the first thing. You can mute people. When you're in the game, you can open the scoreboard, depending on which platform you're playing on. For example, on computer, it's on the tab. If you press the tab, you'll see the scoreboard. There'll be little buttons that you can use to mute people, mute people's voice chats, mute their typing chat. However, there's a functionality that this game has, which is fantastic. We do not have pings, at least not yet, but we do have something that is called the VGS. And I believe I have a video somewhere where I explain that. But I might do another one just a bit more recent for you guys to have a better understanding of the VGS. But the VGS is essentially a combination of keys that you will do that will have different commands, and the character will talk to you, with array stuff that you need to say. Like, for example, enemies on the left side, need healing, capture the objective, attack, defend the base. All of that stuff is there. Now, you will have the default VGS system, which is right here, VGS input system. You'll have usually the default one. I advise you, if you're on PC and if you can do this, go into Legacy Deprecated and start with this immediately. Once you start playing Paladins for your first time, this is what you need to focus on, all right? Because you want to get used to this. You don't want to get used to the wrong system, because the other system is okay, but personally, not only does this have more voice lines, but it's also easier to use once you start understanding its logic. Like I said, I'll do a video more updated in explaining to you what logic that is, because you'll see that this Legacy Deprecated, this actually has a lot of logic to a lot of its combination of letters. And then this way you'll understand and know these things by memory super super easy. So that's one of the things you guys need to focus on, getting the legacy deprecated if you can, if you're on PC. And once that is done, you can focus on the rest. And like I said, Siege will be your main mode, so this will be perfect for you to be testing. Not testing. More testing would be TDM, Onslaught, and King of the Hill. Siege will be learning the main game mode, so that one day when you go into competitive, you do that. Like I said, ignore what people are saying, just play the game by yourself. And when I said that you need to read, here's what you need to read. If you're about to unlock a character, or you already have a character and you need to know how it works before going into the game, you have here a couple of options. Press on the character that you need. The first section immediately will have a description of the abilities here to the left side. You'll also have like cooldowns. It'll tell you how much time it is. You'll see the keybinds on the left side. And not only that, but if you go into advanced, this little button right underneath my camera right here, if you go there, it'll have even a better view of these abilities, even with more information. Way more information than what you just saw in that last section there, right? Sometimes it will have information missing, unfortunately. But, you know, with time, you're going to learn some of these things. You can also check out like tutorials on YouTube and so on, because I'm going to be honest, Smite has a great functionality. It's by the same company. They have a great functionality, which is like little buttons of play buttons on each one of the abilities, and then it will show you a video of the gameplay of that ability itself, so you guys can see it. But remember what I told you about the shooting range? If you need to test these things out and understand how they work and how they, like their delays or their times, how much they last, what area of effect they have, you can go into the shooting range and test it out yourself, even before buying the character, which is great. Also, never buy the characters with gems, with crystals, gems. Just always use gold, please. Like I said, that other video of the gold will help you out a lot on how to get as much as gold as possible. Also, make sure you read also the talents. That's another thing you need to read. Then once you can, and start creating loadouts, start reading the cards as well. Even, you know, grab the card and start putting more points on it and see how they get affected with more points and with less points. These are all things you're gonna have to learn eventually. So we're now going to the final section of the video, which is essentially what goals you need to set up for yourself in order to be better at this game and enjoy it better as more, both by yourself and with your friends. Although I'm gonna be honest, if you really want to enjoy this game to the fullest, like I said, ignore everybody being toxic to you and make sure you have friends to play with this. Right now, you're probably saying, what are you talking about, man? I don't got no friends. I'm not going to play with friends. Or maybe you do. It doesn't matter. But there's a couple of different ways you can get some friends to play with you. First of all, you can go into the official Discord of Paladins, where you will have looking for groups, little rooms where you can go in there and type, like say, I'm from Europe and I am a brand new player. I would love to have somebody who knows about the game and teach me and play with me. You can go in there and search it out for that and get some people to play. If not, just casually start playing the game. Eventually, you're going to find some nice people in the game. You know, you can type to them while you're in the game. Just make sure you're not toxic again. And when I told you to not answer to anybody, I'm also going to give you another extra tip on about typing. You have direct messages here for people, right? For example, I can send a message to this person here. This little window will pop up here. Please, by the love of God, don't be typing stuff here that will get you banned, because you're typing this to your best friend. He's not going to report you, that's true, but the auto system will pick it up. I've had a bunch of different people showing up into my streams asking how can they get unbanned because they said something racist in these little, DMs, these private DMs, and saying, but it was to my friend. Like, I didn't say it to nobody. He didn't report me. Well, yeah, but the automatic system did pick it up, so yeah. So yeah, getting friends, you can send some friend requests while in game into people, especially at the end. When you finish a match, you'll be on something that is called the final scoreboard, the end game scoreboard, almost similar to this. As you can see, it'll have buttons here. The block buttons do not prevent you from playing with these people. They will just prevent these people from sending friend requests, group requests, DMs, and so on. This little button here is to report people. So if you see somebody being toxic, if they're being racist, whatever, jumping off the map on purpose, that is called griefing and / defeating, depending on the situation. You can report them. You'll have different things here. You can also send gifts. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. At the start of the game, you're not going to have a lot of crystals. You might invest money and you get a lot of crystals, and sure, that's fantastic. But if you want to get some skins in the future, the best way to go about it without having to spend a lot of money is always going for the Battle Pass. Not only does the Battle Pass give you a couple skins inside of it, but they also give you something called the XP. And that XP will allows you to level up your characters faster to level 8, and that right there is going to be one of your main goals. Unlock all characters and get them all to level 8. Now you're probably going to be like, okay, but I don't want to do that. Well, I understand that, but you don't have to do it in normal matches. You can go into the training matches, remember? So by grabbing every character and putting them to level 8, not only will you be learning a little bit about the character, you'll learn how to counter it, what exact abilities and sort of passives that they have over time, but also you'll end up maybe doing loadout for the character. Even if it's a bad loadout, doesn't matter. Like I said, video in the description of how to do loadouts. But even if you do a bad loadout, doesn't matter, right? You end up having loadouts for these characters and unlocking all their talents because all their talents are up to level 8. So when you go into competitive in the future, or even in casual, like you decide to go grab a coffee, but your teammate who was in the party leader, they queued up. You didn't notice. And then the game picks a character automatically for you, right? And you come back and you're like, oh crap, it now forced me to play, let's say, Grok or something. I don't know how to play Grok. This character is super hard to play as a healer. What do I do? Well, if you have played the character to level 8, right, you at least know a little bit of how it plays. You'll know at least what talents does it have, and you'll have them unlocked, and you possibly already have a loadout. Even if it's a bad one, doesn't matter, you can still do it. In-game, you'll have items that will pretty much work for almost every character, every class almost the same way. Almost. Not every character works exactly the same, but those items will also help you manage this character a little bit. Like if you see, okay, this character needs to heal but it has long cooldowns, there will be items that, again, you'll need to read. And if you go into the shooting range, you can access that item shop, and you can read and see how you can have something that will help you play this character, even if you've never played it before, right? For example, let's say you are stuck with Grok and you need to heal. You start reading these talents. Okay, this one here even gives me 20% healing done. Let's go for this one. Oh, I have like only default loadouts, whatever. You pick one and then you go into the item shop by pressing I, and you'll have all the different items, and you press them before you buy them and read what it says. Again, reading. This is very important, especially to playing Paladins. And if you're playing Smite, which is the other game from Hi-Rez, it's even more important than this. But reading it and understanding it, right? If you have a question, what is crowd control? Go on to Google or to Paladins Wikipedia, it's a website, and search for the term itself and understand what it is, right? And you can then understand a lot more things in this game, and that knowledge is going to help you a lot, because in the future, imagine you have a character that it's doing some sort of a crowd control that stuns you all the time, and you never even knew, but there's an item that can slow the effect of that stun, or decrease the duration of it. There you go, there's items for that. There's items to decrease cooldowns, except for your ultimates. There's an item that makes your ultimate charge faster. There's items that heals you once you get a kill. There's items that give you more damage after you get an assist or a kill. You know, all of these are wonderful even for characters you've never played before, right? So understanding how this works is definitely mandatory. Again, I will also have another video which will teach you how to, you know, all about these items, what they do, which are best to buy, and so on, in the description. If I don't have it done yet with the brand new store, I will do an updated video and also plant it there as soon as possible. But for 2024, so far, this is going to be the tutorial that is going to help you. Now, as you see, I don't have no gameplay. There's no point of giving you gameplay, because then I would be focused on gameplay, not talking to you. But like I said, let's just review this. Before you create an account, right, get a referral system. Even if it is from the video, use my referral if you need that to just get more rewards. If you have somebody who plays the game, ask them for their referral. If they don't know how to do it, point them to my video so they can see how to do it, and you both get rewards. After you start the game, first thing you want to do, tutorial. Then you start doing bot match games until level 5, and you play all different characters that you have available. Try to get as much as gold as possible by doing what is called the Trials of the Realm. Simple missions that are free, already obtainable, and there will be different missions here that will give you gold and even crystals, which is a premium currency. But here you go, 50,000 gold right there if you do the missions that it tells you what to do right there, right? And you complete this, you get this gold, you get new characters. Unlock up every character to level 8. sorry, you lock every character and you get to them to level 8 as fast as possible. Once you do all of that and you already have a basic knowledge of the game, you already, you know, cruising through the game, you're already starting to get like higher ranks once you go into competitive and so on, like plat, diamond, doesn't matter. Once you start getting to that and you're starting to look into what can I do now, right? I already know the game, I already play it. The only thing I have fun with is by playing with my friends. What other things can I do? The last thing that I will suggest to you is to seek the golden skins, I guess. That and the higher rank in ranked, which is Grandmaster. If you see the competitive is not for you, then getting characters to level 50 will award you what it's called the golden skins. These are mastery skins, right? This is a perfect goal for you to go for. I did that. In fact, I have every character, as you can see here through the levels, I have every character to level 50 plus. Every single one of them. That was one of my main goals. Now that I'm done with it, I'm just waiting for brand new characters, brand new modes, and so on. But I've played this game long enough to know at least what things to suggest to you, and I hope that the things that I did indeed suggest to you here on this video helped you. If you have any further questions, I'm going to use my comment section as a discussion hub where I want you guys to ask all the questions you have. Even if you think it's a stupid question, go ahead and ask it. And then, for the people who already have a bit of knowledge on the game, or for people who already have been playing this game for years and so on, and you want to help out as well, go in there. If you give it your own point of view, make it everything, you know, cordial, be nice, don't be stupid, don't be toxic, and from then on, just enjoy them as much as possible of the game. Like I said, most of these things that didn't describe or explain to the fullest, I will be having a description, okay? So how to do the referral system, how to get more gold, the ranked system, how to do loadouts, the siege mode, all of it, whatever I already have done, it will be there. If it's not done yet, and I'll do them as soon as possible, and then add it out in the future. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I helped you as much as possible. If you are a brand new player to the game, I hope you enjoy the game as much as possible as well. And again, if you have questions, ask them away. And if you want to follow my channel for more tutorials in the future on stuff that you want to learn, both on Paladins and even other games that I might or might not do in the future, like Smite, Fortnite, and so on, then I would really appreciate it. And if you have anybody who you want to introduce to Paladins and you want them to see this video, share them with them, you know, and learn together. That's a wonderful experience. I'm gonna be honest, my favorite moments playing this game is when I'm playing with friends, and I think that it will be for a lot of you as well. So again, don't be toxic, avoid confrontations, enjoy the game, all right? And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.